I am so happy to be able to introduce a wonderful, wonderful new guest to my listeners today. Now, I am here with Donnellyn Dominguez. Now, I'm probably pronounced that completely wrong, so you can correct me in a minute, Donnellyn. But I first heard Donnellyn on a video that I watched you on one of the Asea Facebook groups. And so I was completely blown away because as a mother myself, every single mother wants to make the best decisions from the moment that or before you even know that you're expecting a baby. Every single minute that journey onwards, we're making decisions for what's best for, first and foremost, our unborn baby, for ourselves or their health, and then as our children sort of grow. And one of the things all my listeners know, Donnellyn, is that over the last few years, a lot of people, with everything that's been going on, and I'm always careful how I phrase this because of the channel we're on, but a lot of people are really having that aha moment about the decisions about taking back their health for themselves and their loved ones into their hands. So when I heard you share your wonderful story and how many mothers and children and babies you're helping with your passion and your knowledge, I thought I've got to ask you to come on my channel. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on. And please do let us know how you are today and introduce yourself to my audience.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. I'm so honored that you asked. I am a midwife, have been for 18 years, and I owned a birth center here in Texas for about 10 of those years. I sold my birth center in 2020, the end of the year, so 2.5 years ago. But to have still delivered a few babies because I have some moms that I can't say no to. Right now, I don't have any on my schedule, and I'm kind of enjoying that because it frees me up to travel, and I don't have to worry about somebody's going to have a baby while I'm out of town. So the new freedom has been delightful, but I have loved my midwifery career. I know I was called to it, and we had over 1,000 deliveries during that time. So that's been fun, but this is fun also. Do you want me to tell you how I came to know redox or what?
Yeah, I'd love to, because anyone who's been through the birthing process themselves knows that that relationship and those decisions that you make there are so important. And through your personal journey, and also all the mothers that you've helped over the years, which is so many, as you say, so for over 1,000, you became across the redox signaling molecules, the Asea, the blue as we call it. How did you first come across it, Donnellyn? And what was your journey of you starting to understand what this can actually do for you and others?
In 2015, I discovered a place on my leg that did not look normal. So I went to the specialty doctor. He did some tests and called me with very bad news, like the worst news you ever want to hear, and said we needed to schedule surgery right away. So we were kind of taken aback, but didn't think it was that big a deal because it was just a small spot.
Mm.
And after the surgery, I realized it was a bigger deal than I thought because the incision was huge and the recovery was hard. But I thought I was fine. And so I never stopped working. I worked on crutches and we got through that. And a year later, I noticed a place on my leg above that incision where there was a lump, like a marble under my skin. And so I knew that wasn't normal and called the specialty doctor again, made an appointment. And by the time I got there, the one lump had become three. I had three marbles instead of one. And when he tested again, he was going to schedule another surgery. And I went, whoa, wait, I don't like being cut on. Let's look and make sure this isn't anywhere else because I don't want to just keep cutting parts of my body off. And so when we did, we realized that things had moved and traveled And the same situation that had originally been in my leg was now in my lungs. So my prognosis was fair, and the doctor said that he could give me an extra 8 to 13 months to live if I did their regimen of medication. And I didn't want to, because I'm a midwife. I do everything natural. But my husband said, no, I want you to live, so we're going to do this. So I went down that journey. The treatments were one every 6 weeks, 4 treatments, $150,000 each. But we said, okay, so we did 3, but the third one actually put me in ICU because it killed my pituitary gland. So you can't live without cortisol, and that's what the pituitary gland produces. So I was kind of a mess, and I did live, obviously. And when I got through that incident, the doctor said, well, I won't give you the 4th treatment because that would kill you, but we will do 1 bag of these 2 bags of medication every month for the rest of your life, because things are quiet right now, but they won't stay that way if you're not taking this drug. And I said, well, I don't know how crazy you think I am, but you just nearly killed me. I'm not doing any more of that. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about medicine or doctors or anything else. This was my personal decision. But I said, I'm a midwife. I'll find something natural. So that's when my journey began, to look for something, anything that could help my body recover from the damage that it had been through, and keep any bad cells from reappearing or, continuing. So I tried for 16 months, everything that was out there. I spent another $20,000 on alternatives, and nothing helped. In May of the following year, my nutritionist handed me a bottle of Redox and signed me up for 1 case and 1 tube a month. But she didn't really understand what it was. She was new, and she was in the process of moving. So she gave it to me, signed me up, left, and I got home and tasted it and went, oh my gosh, she has scammed me. I can't believe she would do that. This tastes like a bottle of pool water, and I don't even know what's in it. So I wouldn't drink it. Now, understand, I was in a very negative frame of mind. My knee, the opposite knee from the leg that was operated on, was bone on bone from limping for so long. So I was very uncomfortable. My energy level was shot because I didn't make cortisol, and I was on a substitute for cortisol that wore off about 6 p.m. at night, and I had to go to bed every night. No choice. So I was trying to work full time and keep up with my babies. I was delivering 6 to 16 a month, but I never felt good. So it made me be in a negative state of mind. Chronic pain always does. So I was just getting through my days and not in a very good place. In August of that year, I had the knee replaced on the leg that was messed up. And then I was really in bad shape because it wouldn't get well. So I rocked along until December of that year, 16 months from the time the damage was done. And the person who was upline from the lady that signed me up finally got a hold of me. He had texted and called and tried to educate me and inform me and take me to convention and all the things, but I was anti-network marketing. I mean, very anti, and I didn't want anything to do with it. I mean, my thought process was, I have a business. I have a busy business.
Absolutely.
I don't have time to do anything else. I'm not interested in that any of it. And of course, I didn't know what the product was. So December 4th, I answered the phone when he called for the first time in 7 months. And he said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm not doing well." And he said, "Are you drinking the Redox?" I went, "No, I'm not drinking that stuff. Tastes like a swimming pool, and I don't even know what it is." So he educated me and was kind to me, which is kind of a miracle because I was not very nice to him. And so I'm grateful for Jim Glenn. But when he sent me the information, I said, "Okay, I've tried everything out there. I don't really believe you. I don't believe this is real. It sounds too good to be true, but I'm desperate. And so I'm going to drink it." And now by then, I had 7 cases and 7 tubes of gel because I had never turned off auto ship. It just wasn't on my radar. So I began to drink. He said it's 100% non-toxic. You cannot hurt yourself. You can't even overdose. I went, okay. If a little's good, more's better. I'm going to drink this up and show you it doesn't work, just like everything else hasn't worked. Bad attitude, I know. So I began to drink 2 ounces twice a day, and in about 3 days, I doubled that amount, and I continued to increase every 3 days until I was up to 28 to 32 ounces a day. My goal was to get rid of it, show him it wouldn't work, and go on with my life. But 3 weeks later, I was wrapping Christmas presents, and my husband came in and said, "Do you know what time it is?" I went, "No, I don't know." He said, "It's 11 o'clock.
Wow.
And I went, "It's 11 o'clock and I'm still awake and I feel good?" He said, "It's 11 o'clock.
Gosh.
So I literally went to bed praying. Pardon me?
So he noticed before you did, he made the connection.
Yes. I went to bed praying, "God, please don't tease me. Don't let me get my hopes up and then be disappointed again," because I knew emotionally I couldn't handle another disappointment. But I promised, if this is helping my body correct the issue and heal from all of the things like redox signaling molecules are said to do, I'll tell everybody and I'll give you all the credit. So I went to bed. My energy was good the next day. A week later, my 21-year-old student said she couldn't keep up with me. I was still going down the stairs bad leg first because that knee would not heal. It had been nearly 5 months since the corrective surgery, and I was in a lot of discomfort because of that. It was stiff and swollen. So about 2 weeks later, they called me to come downstairs quickly, and I wasn't thinking. I trotted to the bottom of the stairs like I was 15 years old, and when I got down, I went, "Oh my goodness, what they said is true. This helps your body recover in priority order, and a pituitary gland, little tiny gland in the top of your head, is a very different recovery than a knee that has been replaced." So I was blown away that I felt so good, and now my knee was no longer uncomfortable, stiff, or swollen. So I went running through my birth center telling everybody, "Look what I can do." I was running up and down stairs, doing jump squats, acting like I was a crazy 15-year-old. And I was so thrilled. My heart was so full that I felt good. I felt like I had been given my life back. So then I thought, okay, if this is 100% non-toxic and helps your body correct anything without you even knowing that something is wrong, why am I not using this for my prenatal appointments? I don't have anything on my shelf that's 100% non-toxic. You name an herb, a vitamin, a homeopathic remedy, an oil, nothing, even though it was all natural, Nothing was 100% non-toxic. So I began to educate my girls during their prenatal classes and tell them about redox and give them the choice, because we practiced informed consent. So I gave them the information. About 25% came to me and said, I want what's best for me and my baby. So I want to use this during my pregnancy. So we did with those. And of course, I monitored closely because I was kind of holding my breath, feeling like Vertus Norton going out on a limb with a new area. And it does say on the bottle not to take it if you're pregnant or lactating without your healthcare provider's permission. Well, I'm the healthcare provider, so they had my permission, and I was watching closely, and everything about those pregnancies went better than the norm. And no issues. Some of them didn't even have to take supplements that they had had to take in the previous pregnancy for iron or whatever, because their body knew what the
Yes.
issue was and corrected it, just like it says. That's what redox signaling molecules do. The cells communicate, your body knows how to fix everything. And our results were phenomenal. And then we got to the births. The births were better. They were faster. They were less complicated. There are some things that are normal with birth, even though they're borderline, you have to really watch amount of bleeding and things like that.
Yeah.
All of those issues were better. I mean, amazingly better, so that it caught our attention. We had to document, oh my goodness, look at this, even length of labor. So we were so thrilled with the results. And then we went through postpartum with them, and not one single person in that group had any kind of the hormonal issues that are normal during postpartum. Your hormones just do like
Absolutely.
this. But theirs were level, they were happy, they were stable, and it was phenomenal. So I talked about that so much that I was invited to, and maybe it wasn't just that. I was talking about the amazing results I got, but I got invited to be on the medical professional board.
Oh, wonderful.
And I'm so excited that just a few weeks ago, I went for a medical professional board meeting at the corporation, and I got to sit down with the scientists and give them all of my statistics, give them my results. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that they have the information now, and we're going to talk about it because, like you said earlier, look at the field we're missing. Look at the number of people we are missing that could have absolutely amazing pregnancies and deliveries if they knew about and felt comfortable with drinking redox signaling molecules. So I recommend now that anyone, obviously I'm not practicing full time, but when people call me and say, will it be okay? I tell them I think every pregnant girl on the planet should be on redox, but you take the product and maybe your upline to a doctor's appointment with you and educate him about what this is, that it's 100% non-toxic, can absolutely not hurt anything, and can probably help your body with everything. And, get his permission. Or tell him you're going to do this, and work with him to educate him so maybe he can help other people.
I love that approach, Donnellyn, so much. I mean, there's so much I want to ask you about what you've just covered. I mean, first and foremost, your journey. I had no idea you'd been through that much.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And when it's like when I was first connected with Danielle, and when you've lost your health, everything else goes into perspective, doesn't it? It really does, not just for you going through it, but for your loved ones and your family members that are seeing someone they love so much having to go through that. And I empathize. I'm a biologist and a holistic health therapist, and I work with humans and a lot of animals. I prefer working with animals, actually, just because you know, the animals don't have the chance to make the decisions themselves, you know, so it's so important we do the best we can for them. But all of us are so bombarded with information these days, and it's so hard for people to really, you know, trust, actually. But when you've been through such a powerful personal journey, and for me, this is what really convinced me, Donnellyn, as well, the fact that it can do no harm. And I'm a herbalist. I work with so many natural remedies. I love all of them. But this to me is so foundational, because our bodies are beautiful healing machines. And unfortunately, a lot of the modern challenges that we go through can push us out of balance. And it's very challenging for people to get good food these days, let alone anything else. So when you're doing something that's just making your beautiful body work better, it's such a lovely feeling to be able to tell people about this, isn't it?
It really is. Just a little side note, 2 years after I began to feel good, I went back to the specialty doctor only for labs and scans. I told him I would never do any more of the medicine, but I went back for checkups just to make sure. And 2 years after I started feeling good, he said, "Donnellyn, you're a mystery to me." And I went, "What do you mean?" And he said, "I don't understand why you're sitting in my office." And I went, "I have an appointment." He said, "No, not that." He said, "You should not be alive." He said, "What you had does not go away, and you don't get well. Like, your labs are perfect, your scans are perfect, and I don't understand." And I said, "Well, I've had a lot of people praying, but do you remember me telling you about redox signaling molecules?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, you can take that stuff if you want to." I went, "No problem, I'm going to." And since then, Catherine, I have been honored and privileged to help so many other people in that hopeless situation recover their health, because there is such a mindset that goes with having that um, having that information come from a doctor that this is what's going on in your body, and there's no hope. You know, we'll try this and we'll try that, but you know, bottom line, that's all we can do. And so often they get through those treatments and they still don't have any hope. So we have watched redox signaling molecules help people recover from anything and everything you can name. And sometimes they don't completely recover, but they improve. And we can never promise to heal, prevent, cure any kind of illness or disease, and we don't. We just say this gives your body what it needs to do the best it can to recovery. And that works every time on every person without fail, if they drink enough and stay on it consistently long enough. So it's the most amazing thing I've ever found. And I have been in this industry for a long, long time, like you, and used all natural stuff. But this so far surpasses anything I've ever come across. And being a skeptic in the beginning, I totally understand when people don't believe me.
I completely get that. And I'm laughing because it's so uncanny who's just joined me. I wonder if I can show with the video. Pumpkin, my cat here, one of my cats. Now he is magnificent, I do have to say. But Pumpkin, about 6 weeks ago or so, got a massive abscess on his side. I mean, it was huge, Donnellyn, and he's got very long fur. So it took me a while to spot it. And when I was grooming him, I was like, oh my goodness, this lump. And so I took him along to the vet because I needed to check what it was. And he's a rescue cat, so he's very friendly, but he's quite hard to handle. And luckily she took a sample and found that it was infected. So we knew it was an abscess, touch wood, not anything more sinister. But anyway, of course, it burst and left a massive gaping hole on him. So all I managed to do was put the gel, the redox gel, twice a day, smear it on the hole. I didn't interfere. I didn't try my clay, which I normally do to draw out, because his fur is so long and he was so sensitive having it touched. I was like, okay, we'll just do that. It's unbelievable. I wish I'd taken pictures. You know, when you just think, oh, why didn't I? But at the time I was so busy treating him. So it's completely healed so quickly, and my husband was just completely blown away. He was like, wow, this is just amazing. But the other thing is since we've been putting that on there, he's been so much friendlier because he knew it was making him better. But it's just beautiful. It's got no scar tissue there. His fur's growing back really quickly, so we mustn't forget our furry friends. Now, the babies,
I've seen that happen too with furry friends.
A lovely story. Danielle was telling me about twins. A lady, one of your ladies, who gave birth to twins, and it just went much smoother than expected. Can you share that story?
Absolutely. She is one of the ones that has delivered since I sold my practice. But we've done several babies together. This was baby number 8 and 9, her twins. So she called me as soon as she found out she was pregnant and said, I know you're not practicing. And I went, doesn't matter, you're mine. So we worked together her entire pregnancy. She started on redox at the beginning. She had no complications. She carried the babies to 41 weeks, which is so phenomenal for twins. Anybody that knows anything about birth, twins typically come early. But
I'm a twin.
Are you a twin?
Yes.
Awesome. I have twin grandsons that I raised, so I'm a twin fan. But yes, she carried to 41 weeks. Because we both live way out in the sticks, my collaborative care physician, who is 100% on board with me and with Redox, said, I think it would be a good idea to deliver in the hospital just because we're so far past dates. And with twins, that's more like a 43-week pregnancy when you carry twins to 41. Yeah. So we agreed. We went to the hospital. They gently induced. It wasn't drastic. And she had babies in about 3 hours. They were a perfect vaginal birth, absolutely no complications. And if I can be so, I don't know, I'm always worried about men watching this stuff and whether or not
don't worry about the men. They don't need. Yes, don't worry. Say it. Yeah.
But her blood loss, which with twins, it's normally more because your uterus is stretched out so big, it takes longer for it to clamp down, and clamping down is what stops the bleeding. She had 13 pounds of baby between the two of them, and her blood loss was 80 milliliters. Wow. Old people say cc's. It was so little. Normal for a birth is like 250. That's 1 cup. Yeah. It can be normal all the way to 500 or 600. And you expect that with twins. You expect to have more blood loss. 80 cc's of blood loss, and it was measured at the hospital. So there's no way I can exaggerate that or make it less than it was. It was measured. And I was there, elbowing the doctor. See what redox does? See what redox does? It was a beautiful birth. She had no complications. She had no postpartum issues. She just did amazing. And I mean, she nursed both babies. I mean, everything was picture perfect. So
I just love hearing things like that. You know, it's such a gift that we can give these people and give them. And I would imagine after birth, without going into too many detail, I imagine the gel is really, really useful. And of course, for the children then, as they're growing up, to have something that's so safe that you can use on the babies and the children if you need to as well, you know, with nappy rash and things like that and everything. There's so many, you know, also breastfeeding, you could use it as well. Yeah.
When moms get sore, they can put the gel on. It helps everything heal so quickly, and it's non-toxic, so the babies can nurse without you having to wash off something when you're already sore. So, I mean, yes, and the rashes that are pretty common in newborns, and even if they choose to circumcise, that heals so quickly. If they have lip or tongue releases, you can use the gel on that, and it heals so fast. Babies don't even cry when you do the stretches. So amazing, amazing, amazing products.
Yes, and you've managed to help so many people with it. So now this is your sort of full-time, you know, job is sharing this, isn't it? Because you've seen the results so much. So talk us through how that's going for you.
Well, I mean, it's been amazing. I was part-time. I could only do it part-time when I still had my birth center, because once I got well, I was so far behind from being down 16 months and having to hire everything done. And nobody does stuff like you do, right? So,
Exactly.
so I was very busy trying to get everything back in order. And there were challenges along the way with my husband's health, and so all of that, I finally got to the place that I felt like I could turn my birth center over to someone else. I had only worked in the redox industry for 3 years part-time, very part-time. My weeks were 60 to 90 hours. If I had more than one birth in a row, I might be up for 40, 45 hours without sleep. So I worked many, many hours and just did this part-time. But my doing this was just telling people my story. You know, your story is what shows people the power of redox. And when I would share my miracle, is what I called it, they would say, wow, I want to feel as good as you do. Do you think it would work on fill in the blank?
Yeah.
I always told them, they say it works on anything with cells, people, animals, plants, but it's guaranteed for the first 30 days. So just try it. You've got nothing to lose. And they would try it and love it, and they would share it, and they would share it, and they would share it. And that's the way my group grew. I started in the very end of 2017, actually the beginning of 18, and I went diamond in 2020 during the summer, during COVID, when we couldn't even get out. But when they stuck us all in the house, then I had access to the phone, and I just called people. So diamond happened in 2020. I retired at the end of 2020, and I had not been prepared for retirement. And at my age, I was looking at Social Security only. We own property, but you can't just suddenly sell property because you're retiring. You know,
Exactly.
it's a good investment, but the money is not necessarily there when you need it. So this turned out to be such a blessing for me because I had built it, and I didn't realize it until a year after I retired, when we did tax returns again. I realized that my salary didn't change from owning the birth center and having that income to transitioning to doing redox full time, because with the birth center, there are so many expenses. I made a large amount of money, but I didn't keep much of it, you know? And then to do redox and have basically no expenses, comparatively, no staff, no building, you know, no supplies.
Exactly.
And so having spent 15 years building that business and at least $300,000 invested, to go to something that I made a $40 investment on, got my health back, get my product free now because I have built a team, and have an income.
Oh, Donnellyn's frozen. What's going on there? I think we've lost Donnellyn. Let me pause it and see if we can get her back. Oh, I don't know whether that was you or me freezing, but
I think you were frozen.
oh, for
but
me, it was you. We never know with this technology. That's very interesting. But there's so many knock-on benefits, aren't there? So out of something really, really scary that happened to you, completely unexpected, and sort of threw you completely off trajectory, something so positive has come. And how often do we hear that, you know, where, I mean, how amazing to that chap that persevered with you to keep telling you about it. I mean, he deserves a medal, doesn't he?
He really does. And I always thank him when I tell my story, because he was so persistent for 7 months. How many of the people watching do follow up for 7 months? We usually call 2 or 3 times and give up because they're ghosting us. I ghosted him. I was rude to him. I did everything to run him off, and he continued to persist. And he didn't even know how sick I was. He
Yeah.
had no idea. So I'm
And
so
God,
grateful.
this is so lovely, because it's like when you've got something that you believe in so much, we've had so much negative news over the years and years and years, you know, the whole mainstream news is so negative, and it's fearful, and it's problems, and so many people feel disempowered. You can see my dogs in the background.
I do.
They're getting a bit hot and itchy because I've got my fire going. So
Let
many
me
people feel, oh, let's, oh, beautiful. Oh, aren't they the best companions ever? How adorable.
He lays up here on my desk with me when I do Zooms.
Yes, I've got one cat here. I've got 2 cats down there, 2 dogs on the sofa. It's my favorite thing about working from home, is that I can have all my animals. But what I wanted to say to people is we don't know. There's a lot of you know, things that disempower people, things that make us think, my goodness, what can we do about the quality of our food? What can we do about the quality of our water? What can we do about the quality of our healthcare? All these problems that most normal people are faced with at some stage in their life, that it's such a blessing, isn't it, to actually have solutions for people to start taking back control of their own health. Because you know, these bodies really are amazing. I mean, look what your body's been through, and look how vibrant you are now, Donnellyn. It's so beautiful to see.
Absolutely. And it thrills me. It excites me to try to educate people. I feel like I'm aging backwards. I feel like I'm getting healthier and healthier as the years go by, even though the number doesn't sound very good. I don't feel my age. And it's okay even if I look my age, as long as I'm healthy and active, and I can travel, and I can talk to people, and I have the energy to go like I do. I don't mind the number as much. I mean, I can't say I don't care. I do. But, 72 is right around the corner, and it sounds old, but I don't feel old. So I like that.
I love it. I can so remember when, you know, I had relatives who are my age now, and I was thinking, oh, that's really old. And it's so true what my grandma said. You don't feel old at all. But we're passionate, you know, anyone who's watching this, we're passionate about, as Dr. David said, living younger longer. And for you and what I love about you, Donnellyn, is you do the most precious thing that anyone has done, that you've done with your career, of safely bringing new life in. What a gift anyway to have that. I wish I'd known about this when I had my children, because the process was not so pleasant, but hey ho, I've got 2 beautiful healthy children, so that's all that matters now. But when you can help people going through the most important stage of their life, really, you know, when you're a new parent, whether you're the mother or the father, it's the most special time. But also I can remember back to that time about with your first baby, it's very nerve-wracking as well, because you are learning everything. To have someone that can help you in this way is such a gift. It really is. I'm so happy that you're spreading that word to the mums out there.
Well, thank you, Catherine. I think one of my favorite things about midwifery was watching my first time moms turn into mothers. They'd come in just little girls, scared to death, not knowing anything about anything. And then we'd have, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last one I delivered, the last client of mine that I delivered was last July, and we were on baby number 7 together. And they just become these beautiful women that, you know, give these children marching orders and keep things disciplined and in order and beautiful. They're loved, they're raised with family and security, and I have loved everything that I have been able to experience in this. There have been some very scary, awful times, like there are with everything in life, and midwifery maybe more so, because every time I walk into a birth, I've got 2 people's lives in my hands. But fortunately, it's been overall an absolutely beautiful experience. And I'm so grateful now for a way to incorporate that and what I've learned and be able to share with other mamas, even though I'm not doing this anymore.
Absolutely.
Um, I do ask the moms that contact me and decide to use redox in their pregnancy, I ask their permission to please get their records for me at the end. They can take their name off. I don't care about their names, but I want to be able to see their prenatal records, their labs, their delivery record, and their postpartum record, because I'm going to add all of those to my statistics to, you know, promote our cause, to hopefully get permission to put this out to the women of the world that need it so desperately.
Oh, that's so lovely. Absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. You know, your personal story on its own is just so powerful. And I'm so pleased that you're so well and healthy and happy now. It's just, oh, you know, such a trauma to go through. But also the fact that you've turned it into something so positive, and now you're giving back so much help to others. Is there anything else that you wanted to say to the listeners before you finish, Donnellyn?
Well, no, I can't think of anything. I appreciate this platform to be able to share and get to more people. I appreciate meeting you, Catherine. What a beautiful woman you are, and lovely mission that you're on. And your accent is amazing. I'll try
Oh,
with you if possible. I don't think that's possible, but I would love that. So thank you for allowing me to visit with you and answer questions, and I hope it helps someone.
it certainly will. And I will be putting Donnellyn's contact details, or anything that she wants to share about how people can connect with you, below the video, as always. And if people are drawn to this and they're drawn to share it, and if you've got mothers or prospective mothers or young children and things, please look into this, because it's so important. And anything that we can do to help mothers on their quest, and of course the fathers, all of us, but you know, that is a very, very, very special stage for everyone, and having something so safe and that you can talk to your healthcare provider about is wonderful. Thank you so much for everyone for watching. And Donnellyn, it's absolute pleasure. I really appreciate your time today, and I really appreciate more than ever you helping so many people, because Donnellyn and the other members who are on the Asea medical board, they all do this as a voluntary position because they care so much about sharing. So all your data you're collecting and everything is something you're doing out of the love of your heart, for actually to just provide this information to help people. So thank you so much. We all appreciate you.
Thank you, Catherine. You're adorable, and I hope we get to visit some more. Maybe meet in person
I'm
sometime.
really hoping so. I'm really hoping that I will be coming over the big pond very soon. Yeah. Lots of
All right.
love. Thanks
Okay.
for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, catherineedwards.life and catherineedwardsacademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family, and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.